What's up, everybody? It's What Jim, and Jacob's mission, which I chose to accept, is to review Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Do 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 didn't. Thank you for having me on your channel, Jacob, to review Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Let's start off with what I liked about this movie. This is actually my favourite Mission Impossible movie. It has my favourite story, characters, cinematography, action, and second and third act from this franchise. Rogue Nation has my favourite first act, in case you're wondering. I think the story in this movie is really great and not too complicated to follow, which is nice. I also think the writing is brilliant here. I love how it all came together. It's very unpredictable and has quite a few twists and turns as well. Of course, I've got to talk about the action, and the action is done fantastic here. Each sequence is different from one another and have something unique to offer as well. Of course, you can't have the incredible action without the incredible Tom Cruise, and he's just as great as ever playing Ethan Hunt. He does amazing stunt work as per usual too. You've got Rebecca Ferguson back as Ilsa Faust, and I think she's very good here. I wish she was in the film slightly more though. You've also got Hayley Atwell in this movie playing Grace, and I think she's a very welcome addition. She's very fun and has a great relationship with Ethan Hunt in this movie. Simon Pegg is back in this one as Benji, and he's always enjoyable to see, and he steals quite a few of the scenes he's in. You've also got another one of Ethan Hunt's sidekicks, and that is Ving Rhames as Luther, and he's always there for Ethan, and he also helps ground the movie as well. It's nice to see the character Alana back in this movie. She's a character I wouldn't mind spending a bit more time with. The main villain of this movie is Gabriel, and I think he's very intimidating, and you want to see him defeated by Ethan Hunt, and it was interesting to see how this villain was involved with Ethan's past. You've got a character called Paris in this movie, played by Pon Klementieff, and I think she did a fine job, but she was definitely a standout in the action sequences. There were a couple of other agents in this movie, and I think they're all right, but nothing too memorable though. And I'll touch upon the cinematography, which I think is lovely looking here. The movie overall, I think, is shot really well. The music, I think, is great and exciting, and I think the humour in this movie is used perfectly. It's funny when it needs to be, and makes the film even more entertaining to experience. I think overall this is the most emotional I've felt in a Mission Impossible movie, and I think this film is paced really well. Even though it is over 2.5 hours long, it flew by, did not feel like that length for me. Even though this is my favourite Mission Impossible movie, I do have a few problems with it, so we'll move on to the bad. So I thought there were a few too many coincidences in this movie, a few too many characters. I unfortunately had a few unanswered questions after watching this movie as well. There were also flashbacks in this movie, but I think they could have been expanded upon. I don't think we got to see enough of them. Now I'll move on to the verdict, and I recommend this film to fans of the Mission Impossible series. I rate this film a 9 out of 10. I think it's an amazing movie, one of my favourite films, if not my favourite film, currently of 2023. Can't wait to watch Dead Reckoning Part 2. Thank you for having me on your channel, Jacob. I'd appreciate it if you'd give Jacob's video a like. Please also let us know in the comments what you thought of this movie, and possibly your ranking of the Mission Impossible films. That's all from me. I'll hopefully see you all around. Until next time, ciao. Back to you, Jacob. This video will self-destruct in 5 seconds.